1 minute early. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Goto 10. So nice to see so many of you. My name is Uli, and I work at Internet Stiftelsen, or in English, the Swedish Internet Foundation. Um, I mean, this is amazing public. How many of you have not been here at Goto 10? Nice. Then I have actually job to do. Thank you for that. Goto 10, this place that we are running, the Internet Stiftelsen, is amazing. Of course, if you ask me, I'm a bit biased, but I'll tell you why it is actually a right place to be at. Well, first of all, if you haven't been inside, you get like free of charge, huge co-working area that you can use for studies, for work. You can come here when you have your exam period or you're too lonely at home, for example. Socialize with myself or our members, or not socialize if that's a thing. You can do some podcast recording if that's something that you do. We have all the equipment upstairs. It's also free of charge. Everything is free of charge and available to everybody. But if you ask me, I think the biggest value of Goto 10 to you guys is the fact that we bring in people together. It's the industry, it's the academia, it's the public sector, it's private people like myself, yourself. And why do we do that? Seniors, juniors, students, graduates? Well, because the industry and people's growth cannot continue if those two are not met. So that's the whole idea. That's why we exist. That's why we have this amazing meeting place, most importantly, yeah. And that's why it's free of charge. So there will be no whatsoever problem to get new knowledge, learn something new, meet people, network, and get your career started. So that's the idea. The way this event's going to go is that I'm going to stop speaking, but I will be here for the whole duration. So if you have any questions about Goto 10, want to become a member, ask me later. In a few minutes, I will pass my mic to Ella from Linköping Science Park, who's going to speak about Swish to Sweden project. And at about 10:15, Andreas here will spill the tea about the AI skills and what companies think or not think about that, right? So we're all curious. Maybe some secrets. Yeah, maybe. That was a bit of a teaser. So without further ado, let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uli. Applause to you. Hello, everybody. I hope you all can see me here, right? My name is Ella Galvis. I work as a project manager at Linköping Science Park. Is this sound correct? I feel like it's a bit low. Is it right? Okay, thank you. Yes, so today I'm here to present you the project that I'm currently working for. It's called Switch to Sweden. I wonder if any of you have heard about this project before. 2, great. 3. Yes, so now my presentation is going to go a bit longer. Switch to Sweden is a national project financed by Vinnova. Vinnova is a Swedish innovation agency and is managed by Linköping Science Park. Has anybody heard about Linköping Science Park before? Oh, amazing. Okay, fantastic. Yes, so I work there. The offices are just on the other side, and there's plenty of projects related to technology, business development, and the field that I'm working in currently, which is competence supply. This was the issue. Sorry. Yes. So why this project exists currently in Sweden? We need over 18,000 talents within tech. This is an issue that is relevant all over the world. All over Europe, there is a lack of competence in tech. But today, I just want to clarify what exactly is the lack of talent, because I'm pretty sure that everybody has heard before that if you learn to code and if you learn programming, you're going to have higher chances of getting a job. But sometimes the situation is not that easy. Not everybody who can code today actually gets a job, or just because you have some education in IT and so on. Today is not enough. You need to be a step forward and really understand what the industry is going to. And of course, Andreas is going to clarify more about that later on. But how do we do this? The goal of the project is to increase the qualified matches of international highly qualified talents who are already in Sweden and recruiting companies within tech. We focus in working with master's and doctorate students from all universities in Sweden But also, we know that there is also highly qualified talent in other areas and other schools. So this is why we share the project with many other target groups who are in Sweden. We truly believe that by utilizing the qualified talent that is already in the country and helping them to introduce them into the Swedish labor market, we can have the competences that the country needs to be more competitive into the future. The approach that we have in order to do this is that we wanted to understand first what was the experience of international talents who already have been in Sweden. There's been highly qualified talents all over the years, around many years. And also we wanted to understand the perspective of the companies when it comes to working and recruiting international talents. We have conducted different interviews and surveys, and all these results we have published in different reports that I can share with you later on. However, our main activity is an AI matchmaking tool. This AI matchmaking tool is provided by a company called Creative, who is based in Norrköping, and basically works with a registration form. So the company is just registered, and they basically just need to copy-paste the type of role that they're looking for, and what the tool is going to do is that it's going to organize the information in skills that are required to have. For example, if you're an engineer that, for example, needs to have some project management skills and so on, the basic skill is to not have knowledge in project engineering. The project management is like an add-on. And those add-ons, we call it nice to have, and also soft skills. On the other hand, when the companies have registered the type of roles that they're looking for, the candidates then can answer what type of skills do they have. So it is very straightforward. And when the match is done, basically there is a percentage rate. And if the percentage rate is above 60%, then we help them introduce it to one another. So we share all these profiles with the companies. The companies can take a look into the details, and then they reach out directly to the talents. So if you would like to participate in matchmaking in this matchmaking tool, please, you just need to scan this QR code, and then you're going to be redirected to the registration form. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. Okay, now we can carry on. So here I would like to share with you some results about the Talent Map report, which was the first report that we did in order to understand the experience of both target groups. In this report, we surveyed over 500 companies all over Sweden, 500 talents all over Sweden, including PhD students. And from the business side, we surveyed over 100 companies and conducted 25 in-depth interviews. The results pretty much highlight these barriers, and what we have done in the project is to try to create different activities and initiatives to take these barriers and turn them into opportunities to facilitate the process for both parties. So the first barrier is language and culture. If you have started to look for a job in Sweden, the first thing that you're going to notice is that one of the main requirements is to speak Swedish fluently. But besides speaking the language, it's very important to understand the culture, not only the Swedish culture, but also the culture of the organization, because not all companies share the same cultures. And of course, this can vary a lot depending on the industries. The second barrier is retention and integration. So oftentimes there is many talents who already come to Sweden to work directly, or some of them get hired rather easily. But there is a second stage that needs support, that is the onboarding process into the company and into society. Sometimes these talents have families or they have children and so on, so it is way more complex than just hiring one person and entering in the job market. And the third barrier is migration and administration. So unfortunately, Sweden hasn't have a fast track or key process to recruit highly qualified international talent. Currently, the government is carrying on new efforts to facilitate this process. An example of this is that a work permit today only needs around 18 days to have an answer, which didn't happen before. On the other hand, there are other policies that are creating some constraints. For example, something that is called lönegolvet, which is kind of a minimum required salary that the companies need to pay to internationals in order to offer them a job. This is around 33,000 kroner. Some companies can pay this, but there are many small companies or startups that really cannot afford this. So this is still one of the main barriers. Yes, the way that we help everybody, companies and talents, is by providing information. So today I would like to introduce to you this book called The Insider's Guide to Moving and Living in Sweden. Here we try to summarize in an easy, fun way everything that you need to know to understand the country from a cultural perspective, history, and also how to integrate into society. One of the key topics from all of these barriers is this absolutely key to connect with Swedish society, Swedish people, and then you're going to start to understand that all your activities such as these, that's why Goto 10 is absolutely key, not only in social life and academic life for learning, but also to connect with the business life, because companies are not isolated organizations. Companies are people, and people meet and gather, and it doesn't necessarily have to be only to talk about specific tasks of work. Work happens through different activities, for example, learning or teaching or just playing paddle, literally. So one of the recommendations that I have received from companies is like, ask the students to play paddle because they're going to meet people, and that people is working somewhere. So that's pretty much how it happens. However, I do understand that this is not obvious for everybody, especially if you're new to Sweden. So feel free to get one of the copies of this book. All of the books are going to be in that table. Yes, other key activities that we do in order to facilitate this process is that we publish success stories. Every time that we see that an international talent was successfully hired in one of the companies, we conduct an interview to the talent and also to the company, and we publish all of this so you can take a look. We have a specific campaign towards companies for incentivizing and also creating awareness regarding recruiting international talents. And lastly, we provide a knowledge bank with all the key information about administrative process and where you can get help. If you would like to share the book, we have a copy online. You can also find this on switchtosweden.se. Yes, here are some of the success stories that we had in the past. And also I would like to highlight the story of Muitaba Hassan. I think this one is a particular success story because he is a student who came from South Sudan, and he got a scholarship to study in Copenhagen. Then he continued his PhD studies in Lund, and then we matched him with a company in Stockholm in pharma. He worked there 6 months because the grant to work in that company was only for 6 months. But with the experience that he acquired in those 6 months, he was actually able to find a full-time job also in another pharma company in Stockholm. So I will highly suggest you to read this story. This is pretty much all from my side. So now we're going to continue with the next point of the agenda. And if you would like to stay in touch, please subscribe to our newsletter. You can find also in our website, switchtosweden.se. Oh, sorry, that's it. Yeah. Do we have time for questions?
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
I have two questions. And when you say that moving and migrating, do you mean that, do you want to talk about the talent that is not in Sweden as yet? They are still outside Sweden. And you are moving them and you're migrating them, and then they are getting hired with the companies and you're connecting them.
No. The scope of the project is talent who is already in Sweden, primarily masters and PhDs who are already here. So the project that we work, we do not help with migration from outside the country.
Okay, okay. And the other question is that when we give interviews to these companies, they always, or when we want to connect on a platform just like this one, everyone wants you to have experience, at least 3 years. What about newly graduated students? Because they don't have the experience, you know. So where to get that experience? Do you have a platform like that, or do you want to have that, or no?
Yeah, this is a very common question. This is a simple answer. Today, the system that it was used, that you study a bachelor's or a master's or a high qualified program and then continue to the labor market, it's a bit outdated for many reasons. One is because the knowledge of the industry is going too fast. So what the companies are working with, you cannot learn in the university or many programs. So the students need to do, they need to be agile pretty much. And by being agile, you have to, of course, I'm not saying that the study in the university is a bad idea. It's actually great. You learn to learn, and it's a great foundation for knowledge. But you need to understand what's going on in the companies. And there are certain skills, like we're going to learn today, that are practical and are relevant for the companies. But besides learning those skills, you need to take initiative to create your own project. And the experience doesn't always come from an external party. One of the successful cases that we have had are students that, besides studying, they create a game, they develop a semi-company, they have something, and they put it out in the world, and people see it, and they get reached out, not only because they have certain studies, but because they're doing something that is interesting.
I will contradict that a bit, because what happens at the moment you send your CV, nobody looks at the projects that you have done, and they just send you an email in return saying we have moved, we needed more experience with that job, and we have moved ahead with other candidates. Yeah. Once that happened to me, that I applied in the night, 11 o'clock, and 1 minute past 11, I got the reply, we have moved ahead with other candidate. And that was a big company.
Yeah, so in that case, I also encourage you, especially in Sweden, that sending CVs, there's thousands of people sending CVs, and this is very common. A position can have 200, 300, 500 CVs. When I talk to companies, one of the key advices that they give is be outside, meet people, go to events. You have to say, hi, my name is Ella. I'm working with this. Nice to meet you. And not with the sake of, I need a job right now, because as soon as you say that, everybody's going to say, like, I don't know, maybe I'm not here for providing jobs, you know, so people get a bit scared. No, you have to be curious, you have to learn, you have to say, this is what I'm working for, this is what I would like to learn, and I'm curious about. And once you establish a relationship with that person, and if there's a job opening, then they are going to say, oh, I know this person, maybe we can have a chat. It's a completely different experience than just sending a bunch of CVs. So you have to have the two strategies. You have to have a network strategy. You have to put yourself out there, be different. But on the other side, also understand where there are openings. Try to apply as soon as possible and introduce yourself through the person that you already know. So it has to be a balanced way. Only sending CVs, that is a pretty hard strategy to get hired. Yes. Thank you. I won't take more time, so thank you so much.
It's cool. You just made half my talk, so we're done. I feel loud, but I'm taking time.
Turn you down or something.
Cool.
Thanks.
The button my wife wished she had. Test.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Is it okay for you? Yeah. Awesome. So this is going to be scary. AI is scary for everyone that works in tech. It's a scary moment in society overall, right? It's not easy to get a job or anything. And there will be scary things like spelling errors. But I blame my AI. So it's a lot of AI generated slides in here. So new in tech, not new to winning. I named this presentation, and this is the key takeaway. I want you to leave from this place today with the realization that you're awesome and you have superpowers. You just haven't tapped in, and other people don't know about them yet. Regarding the title, who's new in tech? I see some of you are fairly young. Are you straight from university, applying for jobs? A couple of you. And some of you, are you switching into tech? Or yes, couple. Cool. So we got a mix. What you all share is that it's hard right now. When I was young, believe it or not, I have been young. People used to come to the university and say, "Come work for us." But it ebbs and flows. Soon it will flow again, but until then, we'll focus on how to make you awesome and get the job ahead of that. Let's see if I can learn to click. So, who am I? I'm the main monster, already AI infused. My name is Andreas Wernqvist. I live here in town. I moved here from the deep forest of northern Sweden a very long time ago now, some 30 years ago actually, almost, to learn how to be a programmer. So I went to study at the university, computer science, and I got my job ahead of an exam, and then it took like a couple of months, and then the telecom bubble came along and ruined everything. Some of you were hardly born, some of you might have seen it, but that was rough times. I could not get an interview for 3 years. 3 years. It's like totally blocked everywhere, because there were hundreds and hundreds of people, good engineers, with what matters the most: network, right? They were also getting sacked from all the big players. Ericsson, Nokia used to be here. They packed up shop and like moved in a week. It was almost ghost town out here in Mjärvi. Sad times indeed. But all those other engineers, they had network. So that is back to what Ella said, super important. Right now I have a job, luckily enough. I'm AI architect, so I'm deeply invested into AI. I'm also recognized as an MVP from Microsoft. I do web stuff for a web framework called Aurelia. Speak at conferences, and I've been coding for some 35 years. Actually more, but yeah, it's long enough, right? So the story is changing. Getting into tech used to be not that hard. And it used to mean that you got kind of a cushy, nice lifestyle, salaries were good, competition not that high, you could almost bet on there was a ping pong table available, maybe you even got free sodas. Coffee, of course, is always free for programmers. But right now, it's like the entire tech is in limbo. Because at least here in Sweden, because everyone is kind of awaiting AI. No one quite knows. No one sees the future yet. Yes? Yeah, repeat.
All questions, just need to be nice and easier. You guys are very registered, so it should be good now.
Okay, thank you. I wonder if do you think if there's going to be an AI bubble like we lived before with the .com bubble?
Super hard to say, right? Kind of messing up the entire narrative of the rest of my talk here, but no, it's cool. It's cool. I think right now there is. You have so many camps right now. You have one camp that is have totally deemed out AI, says it's not good for coding, it won't be able to be usable, blah blah, cost more than it just creates problems, right? And then you have those who have tried, kind of see the light, think it's going to be a nice tool, keep using it, and then you have the really those who look a bit more forward, and then you have those who look way more forward. Those who are betting on that AGI or ASI. Do you know about those terms? Some don't. So ASI is artificial superintelligence. AGI is artificial general intelligence. Two very debated things. Some people bet on it arriving sooner than it might be, and AGI and ASI is like the premise of AI doing all our knowledge work. But I think there's still, even if the models or systems get good enough, we still need to build the groundwork for it. Integrations, ways to adapt systems to each other to be used with AI. That's going to take some time, I think. So question is those who's most forward-looking going to proclaim AI bubble before we get over the thresholds? Not sure. Wish I knew. I could... right now, if you think you have a solid know of where AI is going, betting on the stock market is a lucrative thing, right? Because I kind of thought AI would be good, and it turned out to it's been good times. But will we see a crash, stock market? I hope not, because it was terrible during the IT telecom crash, for which things got very much worse during big period. That was long answer for I don't know, but yeah, sorry. So yeah, right now companies are, at least here in Sweden, they're kind of hanging back. Some are hiring, but not as much. They are taking it easy because they have the suspicion that AI will replace junior programmers soon. We don't have the systems in place right now for it to do that. We do see that more experienced programmers gets way better when they have access to good AI tools. How good? That's still to be decided. And the question is, I think some of the industry is also kind of asking themselves, is this going to take the role of senior programmers as well? Are we going to be having such advanced systems soon that also the architects are going to be replaced? And in this kind of hesitation, there's a vacuum that's being created, right? So nothing is happening. It's kind of, that's why it's so still, nothing's happening really, I think. But what we've heard now for a couple of years is that, and this is a mantra for almost all companies, you won't lose your job to AI, but someone who uses AI will replace you. So I was thinking about that and thinking, what would I do if I was early in career and I wanted to stand out and really be able to show that I could do this. Well, my suggestion is that you should practice and practice and practice and practice and become that person who knows AI and becomes that little monster that takes the spot of someone else who didn't adapt. So, age-old question, how do I do that? Of course, super hard, but learn the AI tools. Decide what you want to do. Decide what you want to work on. Pick a niche. Select the tools. Learn the tools. Become the best at using the tools. And push that. And then you build awesome stuff together with AI tools. Use your new superpower and make them public. Don't be afraid to show people. That's quite funny actually, that spelling error is mine. The models are now good enough, so I checked my prompt and I misspelled it. I redid it, but it never got as good. So this is of course the monsters and the humans coming together. So this, since I'm deep in tech, I know a little about UI UX. I take it most of you are on your way into the IT industry. Is that true? Yes. Good. Anyone got UX UI a specialty? 2, 3 maybe. Cool. It was really good to be able to know both. I couldn't design my way out of a box, so I got super impressed by those who can. My UX designer always looks at what I've done at work and says, "Oh, that's back-end design." So there's a couple of tools coming along. I don't know if you probably not run into them if you're straight out of uni, but Figma is one of them. It's basically branch standard, the industry standard right now. Every IT company almost is using it to design their views, and they are releasing new AI functionality in every single part of the product. They have a small free tier. Most of these tools you can start playing around with without having to pay for it. Most often when you want to try the AI tooling, which is of course where I say you should get really good, right? That usually costs some. But most often low tiers are like $20, 20 euros a month. Not fun, but doable. Miro is another one. Really good for designing user flows through applications. Lots of company uses this as well. I think their free tier is more forgiving. You can do more stuff there than Figma. If any one of you is an expert here, have used it, and I'm saying totally bonkers stuff, please correct me. Not a UX designer. uxpilot.ai. Hearing quite a lot of buzz about this product. Might be good to try out. This is like this is so new, so this is AI infused from the get-go. And Framer. Framer is more of a not so much UX UI design, but an excellent app for designing applications, both web and cell phone apps. So if you want to go that route, then I recommend checking out Framer. And of course, there's loads of unknowns. There's coming new tools every day. Any one of you hang out on Twitter, X? Some of you, Yes. Where do you get your tech news? Do you read tech news? Read. Oh, very good. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Feel is. Does that exist? Cool. Threads like in the Meta app or okay. I tried that for a while. Didn't know it took on. Cool. Test it tonight. Anyone got any UX, UI, AI tools you want to share? Not a UX tool, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's one tool called PenPot, which is like an open source version of Figma.
Oh,
You can
nice.
host it and then
okay.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, open source is nice and cheap, right?
Yeah.
Problem is when you get out to a company and you say, do you use this tool? I'm an expert on it. And they haven't heard about it. Yeah. Well, showcasing. Make awesome stuff. Show it off in public, right? So where do you do that? Dribble. Create an account and upload all your cool designs. Behance is apparently popular too. I'm actually not on any one of them. Anyone has any other popular? I was kind of trying to think like GitHub for developers, but for UI, UX. These seem to be the closest equivalent where you can share stuff. AI coding tools. This could be huge. This could be hours of discussion, just this one. Maybe because I'm deep into AI and coding. Anyone tried any AI coding tools? Couple, most, yes. Good. What do you think? Good stuff? Sometimes. Depends, yeah. Anyone? You need the mic if you talk. So if you do like this, good. Thumbs. We'll be fine. You share the mic.
I'd say only direct questions. You need the microphone. When it's just casual comments, no.
Okay.
Or else I'm running around everywhere. It interrupts the flow. So direct questions, microphone. Any comments, just go
Cool.
ahead.
So you were saying depends on the prompt. Depends on the prompt, you said. Yeah. Yeah, key takeaway prompt is key and context. Just a couple of tools. GitHub Copilot, you probably heard of it. I think they were the first out. I got to try it super early because I'm into open source and they gave out it to open source maintainers and I tried. I had it installed for 2 weeks, but it was slowing me down. It was so horrible. I had to deinstall it, and then it's like, this is never going to amount to anything. Worst experience ever. I was writing TypeScript. It kept giving me bad JavaScript code. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Now a couple of days or years later, I can't code without it, I think. Going back to no, I could, but I didn't wanna. So a lot of industries out there are, especially here in Sweden, you'd notice that most enterprises are Microsoft heavy. So I think depending on where you live in this world, culturally you'll have either very Java-centric looking enterprise sphere, or it's Microsoft-centric. Here in Sweden, I think the Nordics quite Microsoft-centric, which means lots of companies you will end up at has access to GitHub Copilot. But this tool is evolving like all the other tools by the week. Evolution is super fast right now, so if you just can keep up and manage to show that you're an expert on using the tooling, I think you'll have a step up, because most engineers I know, they're busy with work. Right now they haven't got the time to invest in learning all the new tools, and especially with this moving so fast, this is an opening for you. If you got time on your hands, that is. Windsurf, actually a clone of Visual Studio Code with built-in AI superpowers as well. Many say it's really good. Not quite sure what's going to happen with it, because OpenAI tried to acquire this company, but the deal fell through, and then Google swept in and actually hired like most of the founders, and the workers who left, I think they made a deal with Devin, so they're going to join with Devin now, who's doing like an automated agent thingy. So Windsurf is kind of shifting right now, but it's been fairly popular during the last year. Cursor, a lot of companies are using Cursor. I'd say all those that are not super heavy down the Microsoft rabbit hole, Java shops, etc., are using Cursor. It's also good. It's a Visual Studio Code clone as well, with AI sprinkled on top. Really good. I think most of these tools are kind of converging now. We've figured out what's good and what's not, and of course new stuff is being iterated forward all the time, new features. But if you learn any of these, you'll be kind of familiar with others as well, because the way of thinking, way of working will be the same. So if you can show clearly that you're an expert in using these tools, you'll have a leg up. There is a new class of AI coding tools, which are the CLI based. I don't see this much in enterprise, nothing in Swedish enterprise almost. It's super hot in San Francisco among the startups apparently. I have can't say I have a hard time, but I want to see my code in ID when I'm coding, developing, changing stuff around. It's easier to navigate. Having everything is in a CLI doesn't work for me, but there are people swearing this is the second coming and awesome stuff. So the competitors is Claude Code, this is less than a year since this was released, and it has taken major share of developers, especially in the US, I'd say. Copilot has just recently released a competitor with Copilot CLI. Haven't tried it much. Gemini has their own CLI, and that is really good because that is free. Just have to have a Google account, and last time I checked, you could use it for how much you wanted to. The evil thing it does is it kind of it downgrades you. If you ask too many questions, it's going to move you from Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is a really good model, down to Gemini something Flash, which is a smaller model, way faster, but maybe not as competent, at least for the very hard things. So that's if you want to try CLI coding tools, you can play around with Gemini for free. And there's a whole new class coming, which is kind of new, asynchronous agents. So this is Codex Cloud. This is OpenAI, and this is they're making it really hard for us by naming stuff the same. So now they have released a new model specifically for coding, GPT-5 Codex. Thank you. And then they have a Codex CLI, and they have Codex Cloud, and also Codex plugin for Visual Studio Code if you use that. So they're making it hard for us, but I think they're trying to get this same feeling in all the different modalities, whether you want to use the CLI or a web interface or whatnot. But what's cool with this is that you specify the task, it has access. You can see just connects to GitHub repository, and you give it the branch where you want to work. And this is just in my current project, find a bug, which is kind of cool. And then it spins up a couple of virtual machines on the web for you, where it starts coding, trying to solve this problem, right? You can also, depending on how secure you want your environments to be, you can enable internet access and things like that. And you can get it to run tests. So it runs your test suite, and if you want to open up internet, it can even like host a web page if you have that, and start navigating, testing it. And you can, it's not in this UI, but nowadays there is a drop down asking you how many versions do you want. So it can produce multiple versions of the solution for you, and you can just check it out, make a pull request from each, or just pull it down to your machine and test it out. Did this work? Do I like the feel of it? Because they all end up different, right? So that's, I think, the most recent advance in AI assisted coding. So if you were to learn this, it's good, really good. I think not many companies are using this yet. A lot of companies are kind of fearful of the security implications of letting something in the cloud have full access to your repository. Most often companies think that your code repository is the most important thing in the world, right? So we'll see where this ends up. And when you have used the tools and want to showcase all that you built, there's only GitHub, right? It's de facto standard. A couple of years ago, enterprises hadn't moved to it either, but now even Swedish Microsoft-heavy industry is moving towards GitHub. So that's the place to be. If you haven't got an account, create one and start uploading cool stuff. And I totally agree with you. You can have the most amazing things on your GitHub. And when you are looking for jobs, then maybe some won't open it, some won't check it out. And unfortunately, that's the way of life. Job market is insane, and there is no guarantee for that the people sitting on the other side is more knowledgeable than you are in any kind of way. I mean, you're technical experts. Most often nowadays, there's a like talent acquisition. They're people persons. They just interview. They don't know the tech. So it's really hard. I mean, back in the good old days, when you sent in a couple of papers to apply for a job, Most often, when there were good times or bad times, people got too many applications for a job. If it was a popular job, then what you did was just you took half the pile and said these people are unlucky, and put it in the trash, and we don't want unlucky people to work here. It's kind of the philosophy, right? It's like luck is definitely a part of it. You need to be lucky, and you need to be able to put yourself and your stuff in front of the right person at the right time, which is key. And that is like super hard because there is no formula for it. But if you have no cool stuff to show off, then that moment might be lost. Other cool places to show what you're doing: X, Twitter, Telegram, apparently. Little did I know. Threads, sorry. Not Telegram, that's just for drug smuggling, right? Don't do that, kids. That's bad. And other things. This is my friend Abdel. He's really happy he got a new hat. And he thinks that's awesome. And that's good for him. But you could show off other stuff, projects. There is yes, I'm actually in that group. There's a building public group. Well, those people are mostly like building companies, but you can still just do stuff and show it off. And boomer Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm sorry, but this is where enterprise hangs out. I think everyone that wants to give me a job, they've seen my profile and what I do on LinkedIn. Most of it. So people go here, whether you like this platform or not. People in enterprise go here, search for people with certain skills, and call them up. That's the way it works. So, pimp your LinkedIn profile. Pimp it like the Christmas tree you love more than anything else. Go bananas, show off your stuff, maybe get into some groups. I don't use groups that much, but I think there's also algorithms here, and right now I kind of ended up in a clique of Linköping and then a couple of speaker friends, international stuff. So I'm kind of happy with that, and try whatever works, like hashtags and everything. And also, I was planning to get in super early and do an extra slide because I forgot that. We talked about networking, right? Networking is super duper duper important. Most of the jobs you will get through your entire career is mostly network based. So, here in Sweden, Linköping, what can you do if you're into tech? Well, there's a couple of meetup groups, and we have awesome meetups here at Goto 10, different forums, right? But there's something happening here every day, all the time. I personally run a coding meetup. It's called Svenug Linköping. Really odd name, I know, but it used to be Sweden.net user group. User groups was something when it was your mom and dad's time. It's way long ago, created early 2000s. But that's excellent places to join. It's free. It's like the meetup platform. And there's more meetups in the areas, I think, also up in Stockholm and Gothenburg. They're being streamed. But if you attend a meetup locally, well, except for getting free knowledge and often a pizza slice or two, maybe some soda in the break, you get to talk to other people there. And who's attending? Well, it's not 10 managers looking for people, but it's other people like you, programmers who want to learn and start talking to people. And except for my meetup, we have women who code as well. Is that the name right? Yeah. Right here. Do we have any more? Yeah. 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 Cool. Announce it on LinkedIn. I'll help spread.
And also here with Full Cafe, we do the Launchpad events for the software community and also for Litahacks, the cybersecurity community as well. So we do a lot of evening community events here.
We should gather all this information in some place. Maybe Foo is best because you have a good webpage with a lot of meetup information.
Yeah, and
right?
and also on the Science Park they have all the events that are part of like the community. So even like Full Cafe events go to 10, and the Women Who Code. These events also get posted there as well. So it's
cool. Very good. Yes. Mic time.
Yes, we also have a community called International Professional Community, and there we basically invite professionals, international professionals who already have been working in Sweden several years, and they share their experience to newcomers or new students, and basically we discuss what worked for them, and from these experiences, what can they do today to get a job. So that is online, so you don't. It's all over Sweden, so you can meet anybody from who's working in Sweden.
Nice. Yeah, we our meetup hang out downtown mostly. So there's always a company sponsoring every time, and they wouldn't be sponsoring us, showing off their place, letting us in there, giving us food, if they weren't going to hire people. So, I mean, there's definitely something in there. So, in conclusion, I hope this is legal. My plan is, so I challenge you all, learn some AI tool, build something really cool, and if you post it on LinkedIn and show off what you did under the hash new in tech, not new to winning, I'll randomly select one of the projects. I'll buy you lunch. You can ask me anything you want about the software industry, or being old, or dad jokes, or AI, or whatever you want during the entire lunch. Deal? Cool. Everyone got the... Can I switch? Yeah. So, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can scan this. I'll move to the side. And let's open the floor. Questions and comments? Anything?
Yep.
It's mic passing time now.
Hi, Andreas. My name is Manoj.
Hi.
I was just wondering if you personally hire people.
Me personally? No, not me personally.
But are you involved in the process?
Only if there's some, maybe when they replace me, I think. But is there some specific question?
I mean,
about the process?
there are so many things that came up here.
Yeah.
And skills are definitely needed.
Yeah.
But it's also understandable that it is not just that. So what is your take on that?
On what? That more than skills, or?
Yeah. I mean, how would you place it? Up and down the scale.
Tech industry is large. We need people of all matter of levels in the skill 3. One thing we're looking at right now is that we have a test that we give, a tech test, right? It's not hard. It's just we want to have a small basis for further discussions, because it allows us to sit down with the applicant and say that we see that you solved something this way, and we just wonder how did you think about that, stuff like that.
Is it lead code you're referring to?
Sorry?
Is it lead code that you're referring to?
No, it's not elite code at all. It's fairly basic stuff, but I mean, it's a coding test. It's not hard. It's not any it's not like the US tests at all. So it's just a small coding test. You're supposed to implement something small, and that always gives us something to talk about, right? But what I was going to come to is that right now we see people who solve it with the help of AI and say that I've done this. I think this is shifting. So soon, if I would be responsible for hiring someone, I would say, if you haven't used AI to solve this, you have failed. Because it's going to be a hard requirement. You need to learn the tools. AI, right now, that's just another tool in the toolbox for being a good developer. And good developers need to learn the tools. So that is shifting.
Yeah, that's a very good take. Maybe our teachers should listen to that and encourage us.
Well, should I answer, or what do you want?
If you have anything.
No, I was thinking.
Mike?
Yeah, I was thinking while you were having your conversation here, and the last thing you said was a good developer needs a good AI tool or something like that. And that's what I'm thinking about. Could you be a good developer if you don't learn actually the language, IDE, and all the other stuff you need to be a good developer? And just rely on AI, because I got the feeling when you showed the slides that, yeah, create one project with AI, but how do you know that it's good? It's a good result.
I don't
If
until I look at the code.
If you're not a good developer.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why I said we need different kinds all over the skill tree. We need people like, and they all need to realize that AI coding tools are tools, and they need to be able to wield those tools to be efficient. It's also a superpower, but to be able to build systems for real, you need to know about building systems. So AI coding tools is not your way out. You can't lie around watching Netflix all evening and thinking that you're going to be a great developer because AI is going to fix everything for you. You still need to know the basics. And also because AI tooling is still flawed. They do hell of a stupid things sometimes and you need to be able to see that, and you won't be able to see that unless you know how to build systems correctly, right? So you're totally right. In the future, though, I am not so sure. Because if we look where the future or the trends are going, right now we as programmers have an extreme pride in what we do daily. Our code is like almost our child, right? We kind of almost fall in love with the code. It's beautiful, it's nice, we solve the problem. I even see contention among groups at some workplaces even. You're not allowed to change our code, but what do you mean our code? Because they wrote it, but it's still the same company, right? In a couple of years, will that still be a thing? I'm not so sure. The movement is probably going to be, we specify what the system should do, which is really hard as well, because it's super much logic and you need to define every step and interactions with other parts of the systems and stuff like that. But maybe in the future we won't be so focused on code. I think that's where we're heading right now. Right now AI is fairly good at writing code. It has a hard problem with building systems. I don't really know where the boundaries between services are really, and it should be put in place, and every system looks differently. Every enterprise has built a different beast. So that's where you need to be able to step in right now and define that hard. Yes. Where Mike? Yeah.
So when you say you have to learn the basics, let's say that you wanted to go into AI, but you didn't know the basics. So if you would today, knowing what you know, go into learning the basics, what would you say that would be right now if you wanted to?
Depends what you mean by
go into
AI. It's a huge field. So can you be more specific? Do you want to build language models?
No, just because maybe you know like what's going on with AI, what will happen, which basics. No, I guess I can't be more specific.
Machine learning is still super viable. Sorry, I can repeat. The question was, can you still use machine learning? Yes, machine learning is super viable. Most companies that derive monetary value from AI systems these days are machine learning. Machine learning were solving a class of problems where you had most often big amounts of data, sometimes small amounts of data, but they could classify them, and that solved the problem for the business. Still viable, still really good. What happened recently is generative AI came along and solves a whole different class of problems, which we as an industry have had a really hard time solving for a long time, which is language-based problems, which aren't really super solidly specific, right? So everything you can solve by using language, now we can use AI models for generative large language models. And that's the big thing that's happening. And to answer your question, if I would be to bet a couple of bucks on something where I thought I could learn something early, get a job, make a couple of bucks, and have fun, I'd look into AI agents. And that is basically just a small, or could be a large language model, but it's a language model in a loop with maybe some memory and things attached to make it able to reach out and do stuff. So it's a chat window with extra alt, basically.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. My question is just like, if you want to present that you've made something with AI, like the help from AI, like it doesn't have to be the complete project you've made with AI, but how would you present that you have used it, but you still understand? Like, it's very easy to just get the AI to make everything and then you don't really grasp what you've made.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to present that distinction. So what would your tip be there?
Go old school. Think 90s. Almost write a blog post about it where you detail the specifics
So
and show that you know it.
You would like present each step of the project. Like, let's say you do a dev blog while you code it. Like, step 1, I made this work, and then people can see the process, and then they understand that you understand it. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good one. README files, GitHub. Yeah, go like for it. Oxfilet, here we go. I think I do that. README files in GitHub repositories, really good. Markdown files, good enough. Just you have detail that you know it. And there's something magical happening in the brain when you actually have to write down what you're doing and learning. Next level is talking about it and trying to teach the subject, which is why I'm standing here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
You mentioned the project that can win us a lunch.
Yeah.
So that project needs to be like a unique idea, or can be anything that we can build?
As long as you build. That's the main thing, right? If
Okay.
you build, you learn.
Yeah.
When you learn, you can show it off.
Okay, and we can of course take help from AI.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's why not of course. I'd say it's a requisite. Use the AI tools. This is where you're supposed to shine, right? Use the tools. Learn the tools. Yeah.
Hey Andres, good to see you.
Hey.
Going back to like the cornucopia of coding AI assistants that there are, is there any ones that you would particularly recommend for legacy projects? Because I've been trying to use Cursor while you were speaking to update some software in my repository, and it's promised me that it's permanently fixed all my problems 5 times now, but many of my problems still remain. So is there any, is this the best there is just now, or is there better options?
How big is the project? Lines of code, approximately?
I don't know about specific lines of code.
Oh,
actually.
you need to know the specifics, man. When you give
Ah,
me
well,
this
give me a
quirky
range.
questions.
Give me options within the ranges, and I'll find out later.
No, but I think so. There's the coding models were trained a couple of years ago, right? From a year ago or something. They have a cut-off date, which means, but you have really old brownfield code. Is that the issue?
Yeah. It's Watchify to Vite and React.
Yeah. Just try to specify it. Be super strict in the file. Define everything, all the API versioning stuff. It's all about giving the agents the correct context when you're trying to solve your problem. Most often they don't understand it, or they can't access the entire repository or something. Try to steer it as much as possible. I think that's key. There are some products that they are saying, like, if you have huge enterprise apps, we have stuff, we've solved it for you. They cost money though, but check out Augment, spelled augment, so not correctly spelled, of course, because we're hip IT. Right?
Great, thank you.
Any more questions? Like, what's for lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been using a lot of MCP tools,
Yeah.
so model context protocol. I mostly use Claude desktop, so that really has helped to increase my productivity.
Yeah.
So I have tools that actually use my computer and maybe organize files, type things for me, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That really, I use it mostly for job applications. So I think maybe people could also use these type of tools to, cheat their way into getting a job by maybe making so many applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a tip.
Yeah, exactly. Super cool. So, do you all know what MCP is? It stands for Model Context Protocol. It's something that a couple of interns at Anthropic came up with like a year or two ago. It's basically it's glorified API calls, but for LLMs. So it's a way to connect your LLM to other parts of the world running code for you. Talking about agents that got tools to reach out, MCPs are such tools. So there are MCPs for Jira, for example. So or whatever you're using, GitHub for issue tracking. So you can say when you're coding and using Copilot in Visual Studio Code, let's pretend you can say, please go fetch issue with number 123, solve it for me, and mark it as closed, or rather create a pull request when you're done. And they use the MCP to go out to GitHub, in this case, fetch what is in the issue, and then start solving the thing, which is really good. There's an MCP called Context 7. If there's anything you remember from this talk today, is Context 7. If you're allowed to use MCPs, that's a big repository of documentation, and where Doug had his big problems that the agent doesn't understand, well, Context 7 MCP makes it possible for it to go out and fetch documentation over different technologies, so you know that you're using the correct documentation, etc., for the agent when it's solving it. Yeah, very good. I think it's the future. The computer will soon be like a self-playing harmonica. You just instrument it and say go, and it just. Sorry.
Which are the three top companies in that encourages AI usage?
I wish I knew. I don't know, unfortunately. But I have this feeling that none of them has come especially far, and I think the largest ones have the most fear of being breached, etc. There's a certain amount of risk that comes along with these agents, right? You have access to your computer or code base, stuff like that. So search and you shall find. Unfortunately, I don't know. I would go for like medium, smaller entities.
How does the management look at it? I mean, is it still with you, or are they open for change?
Oh man, it's all over the place. And in the same company, you have everything from total panic to total exaggerated bliss that it's going to solve everything. I think people are still fearful. That's why we're seeing this kind of hesitation in the business right now, because no one knows actually what AI will do, and will it be a bubble, or will it be able to reduce tasks. We've seen a lot of companies in the US like kick employees and say, well, it's AI, we don't need that many people anymore. And we've seen huge exaggerations from almost every tech lead in the US, in San Francisco now, saying that 50% of our code is generated by AI. And I think lots of Swedish companies are like, what, is that true? Is this, can we do that? Is it possible? But still kind of fearful as well. So it's hard. It's all over the place right now, I'd say. But you have a couple of companies that probably like, we have to do this. Now we're going all in, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I have a case question that consider two persons, like one with very basic knowledge, but very good at using or handling AI. And the other person is proficient, but not good at using AI. And now that you say that people are hiring more people with more AI, how to use the tools and agents. So as a hiring person, how do you validate? Because what I understand is during interviews, we cannot use, or we cannot make use of AIs, but we have to express our knowledge. Then how do you validate if it is the right person with more knowledge of person who is using AI?
But have you had a lot of interviews here in Sweden, technical?
Yeah, 2-3 in 1 year, I would say.
Okay. Do you have to code during the interview?
Yes, for the technical rounds, yes.
Okay, it's cool. I don't know how many interviews I had during my life. I've never done that. Not live.
But how do you know that this person is the right person with more knowledge about how to handle using AI, but at the same time they have the very basic knowledge in coding?
Super hard. Right now, I think if it would come up to that, you probably choose the one that is stronger on actual coding skills. In a couple of months, a year, I'm not so sure though. I just, as I said before, it's loads of luck, right? You need to connect with the right person at the right time. And if you have learned the AI tools and you're really good at that, you've already proven something, right? That you can learn fast, because these are new tools. So you're already proven that you have valuable skill set, which is learning. Don't get into tech if you don't like learning, because it's all you do all the time. Constant. So if it would be up to me, I pick the one with the most AI skills.
I read that like SCB and Wallenberg are like sponsoring a build of this huge AI center in Linköping.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that, or what that's gonna bring to Linköping, or job opportunities or whatever? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Mimer, super cool that we got it right. There was a lecture by what's his name? Ross, Professor Ross. He was here just the other week. What will it mean? Not sure. I do know there's a queue of companies already lined up. It's like the line is full for companies that want to use it to train AI models for their enterprise, for their business, to hopefully make stuff better. So I don't know. I hope it will be a very good thing. And there was actually, he said there is they need some brilliant people to run the entire center and help those companies. And there is actually PhDs contacting them from abroad that want to move to Sweden and work here with AI. Kind of mind-boggling when everyone is moving to San Francisco. So cool. Hopefully be a step up for us. I don't think it will produce a huge amount of jobs, but some. What is good for the companies are good for Sweden, AB, and rising tide floats all the boats and all that. So let's hope.
Okay. Any more questions?
Or insights? Very good. Insights are better, almost.
Okay.
So, big thank you. Become AI-infused monsters. I implore you. Learn the tools. They're just tools. They're different tools, quirky tools, but they can give you superpowers. Show it off. Wear your superpowers proudly. I believe in you. You got what it takes. I think you know that as well. I know it's hard. It sucks sometimes not to be getting an interview for over 3 years. That was hard. I just started doubting myself the other year. I thought I was kind of useless and not so good all the time. There's always a devil on the shoulder saying that you can't do it, etc. Don't listen. You're just new in tech. You're not new to winning. You can do this. Thank you. Thank you.